Press the button, my friend.
The Out of Bounds Show is live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge in the Bank Plus studio.
Check it out.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. It's a football Friday, but we're going to talk some baseball here. That's cool with you. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, powered by Cypress Depot in Ridgeland, cypressdepot.com. cypressdepot.com. Now, the great Mississippi company on the Out of Bounds Show and the leading supplier of cypress and hardwoods in the Southeast, commercial and residential, cypressdepot.com. So right now, if you want to watch the show, you can just, hit YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. We've got 3 cameras in here rolling, and feel free to, you'll probably want to watch Tanner Leggett more than me, but we've got a special guest in studio, and we're excited to welcome in Mississippi State baseball player and national champion who had the walk-off against Texas. That was a do-or-die game on Saturday night. So pretty simple, right? Win in advance, lose and go home. And Tanner Leggett absolutely crushed a baseball over the shortstop's head, and the rest is history to extend the Mississippi State baseball season, in which obviously they took on Vanderbilt, lost again, and then won 2 in a row, which is unbelievable, to get their first national championship in baseball, one that was desperately needed, Blake, for that fan base. That's for sure. And so we're excited to have Tanner Leggett in studio from the metro area, played at Central Hines, Northwest Mississippi, and now with Mississippi State. He joins us on the Out of Bounds Show and the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. Tanner, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Good morning.
Well, thanks for coming in, especially before y'all dive into workouts and practice again to get ready for the 2022 season. Hopefully you won't have to fight an ice storm to get to Fort Worth, Texas, or wherever. But so, all right, I got to start with the big moment. We're going to cover a lot here because I want to jump into the high school and the JUCO too, and Coach Shanks and several other things, and the fact that you played just about every sport that Central Hines had and played it well and thrived. All right, walk me through. It's an elimination game.
Right.
You're playing Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just beat y'all the night before in a game that went to like 1:30 in the morning, right, because of the weather delay. And y'all really could never get it going in that game. It happens in baseball. So Texas wins. This is a win in advance, lose and go home game. Talk about leading up to the at-bat where you won it for Mississippi State so that they could go on and play in the National Championship Series.
Right. Okay, so obviously they had their guys, Todd Madden, and we had our guy, Will, and Landon hot and ready to go. The game was, it was back and forth, obviously, if you watched it. So I'm in the game. Coach Lim had mentioned to be hot and be ready for an at-bat or a defensive sub, which was had been happening recently, and he was like, just be ready, don't get caught. So I get ready, and he says, Leg, you're in the 7th. I'm in the field, actually. And the way the game was going, I look up at the scoreboard. At one point, I remember just getting my prep step and stuff, and I was like, I'm going to get in a bat in the 9th, no matter what happens. I'm getting in a bat. And so it was lined up to where maybe I'd get up with 2 outs, 1 out, whatever it was, the situation. But I knew that I was like, this guy had retired 5 of the last 7 batters, and 5 of them were strikeouts. So, and he's a 2-pitch guy. He was throwing his fastball. He was commanding the whole game, slider. When he came in, he was doing great. So I was like, I'm not going to let his slider beat me. If I get an at-bat in this inning, I'm not going to let the slider beat me. So here comes the at-bat. I'm in the dugout. I'm getting my stuff on. And Luke Hancock, actually our first baseman, walks up to me, and he says, we're good buddies. He says, you ready? I said, yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. And he said, you're about to win this game. And this is before Kellum had even gotten pegged. So this is during Brad's at bat. Brad Cumbus he's at bat, and so I look at Luke and I'm like, I'm about to win this game, I know. And so whatever, he slaps me on the butt, and Brad gets out, Kellum gets pegged, it all happens, and so I walk on deck, and Coach Gotro, our hitting coach, he looks at me, he's like, 2-pitch guy, I'm retired 5 of 7, don't do anything crazy, just get your foot down, put a good swing, and so I'm just simplifying the game all in my head. I'm on deck.
How nervous are you? Or are you?
So yeah, I wasn't nervous though. It was weird because I knew a week before that I can pull up a message from my brother texting me, keep your head up, y'all are about to make a run. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, I'm going to have an at-bat in the postseason. I have the message. I'm going to have an at-bat in the postseason, and it's going to be big.
That's awesome.
And literally a week later, here I am on deck, standing there, and I'm like, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit a slider. So here comes Kellum, gets pegged, man on first. Bray comes out. I already know what's going to happen. Lim wants the bag stolen. So Bray's there.
Which was huge.
Which was huge. We needed it. It was, the biggest bag ever in Mississippi State history, if you think about it. But so I get up there. It was an 0-0 count, and he throws me a first pitch slider. And I step out, and so I saw it. So he threw it for a strike. And I'm sitting there telling myself, well, he's messed up now because if he gives me that pitch again, I've seen it, and I'm going to put a good swing on it. Although I'm ready for the fastball. I'm not getting beat by that fastball. Right. So step out, fastball, heater up for a ball, 1-1 count, Brace steals, gets the bag stolen. Now I'm sitting here.
And you knew that call was going down and
right,
all
I knew 100%. Brace. Well,
Were you taking on that pitch?
No.
0-1?
I was not taking, but I knew that if Bray got a jump, I was going to give it to him because we needed that bag. We had to have a man on scoring position.
Right.
And so he gives me the heater up. It was a ball, 1-1 count. Bray steals, safe. I step out. I remember smiling because I was like, I know it's coming. He's throwing a slider because it's a game, man. It's like a chess. Their coach is not about to give up the College World Series on a fastball down the middle. It's just not going to happen. And I felt a step ahead, I guess. So I look at Riley Self, our first base coach, and he just kind of mouths, "Let's go, baby," at me, and I'm, and we're good friends. I'm smiling, and it was all like moments before, and I step in, slider, hangs it, and you can see the video. If you watch the video, it looks like I knew 100% what was coming,
you did.
and I did. I felt like that. I knew that. I was like, he's throwing me a slider right here. I'm about to get a hit. That's why, I didn't even take a step, and I had my hand up. It was an incredible moment, though, for sure.
So right when it hit the bat, you knew? Right when you hit it?
Immediately. I felt so obviously I felt that I barreled it, and then once I saw that I backspun it and that it was falling to like it was left center field, I think I could have stretched it to a double, honestly. But I'll take the single.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yes, you will. Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. He had the walk-off game-winning hit against Texas on Saturday night, and then Mississippi State advanced to the CWS National Championship Series against Vanderbilt, where they won it. Tanner played at Central Hines and at Northwest Mississippi Community College, and now with, obviously, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Blake?
Outfield has come in on the 1-1 to Tanner Leggett. That ball is into left field. Here comes Skinner. He's going to score. And Mississippi State walks it off and walks into the College World.
I like cried real tears. I told Tanner and his dad that when they came in. I was like, my dad and I, and Bo knows this, like my dad and I we've been adamant state travelers over the last few years, more than we ever were like growing up, Because once you get older, you can spend more time and do things like that. And,
right.
Sure.
And so, and I was like, I was playing sports all in high school.
Right.
I mean, not to your level, but I was busy. So we didn't get to do stuff like that. And so being behind home plate, like 15, 20 rows up and watching, I was like you. It hit the bat, and we were done. We knew it. Everybody behind home plate knew it. We all were screaming. And it's one of those singular moments where I was like, man, people might have had different crazier careers, but there might not be a single bigger moment in a sport in Mississippi State history than that swing, that at bat right there. And I thought it was interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Tanner Allen said that earlier in the season you had struggled with the slider. That one pitch had been something that you had been kind of caught up on What was it like for you personally?
And he said they were taking BP together a lot
For-
of times.
yeah,
We
all
were.
the time.
We
Practice and
really,
stuff.
we actually were.
So
I would
you
actually-
prepared for that moment.
Yes, I was getting work with TA, just me and him personally, hitting, and not necessarily just hitting sliders, but hitting and being able to recognize a slider, whether it be we would set it up a machine to where it would throw a slider at our feet, just to see obviously to recognize a ball. And so what I kept getting is I got the slider in my head at one point for a couple weeks in the season, to where I was pressing, to where I wasn't on the fastball anymore, and I was trying to hit that slider. And so every time I saw it, I was in swing mode. And then I got my work with TA, and he would just tell me, he was like, if you're ready for the fastball, then that slider won't fool you. You'll be ready for the slider. And so we got our work. Actually, Cameron James was in on it too.
Nice.
And he hit a lot of off-speed pitches this year, a lot better than he did. But we would set it up at our feet and then bring it up in the zone, and obviously you try to take the balls and hit the strikes. But yeah, that was a cool moment. It was cool to see all the fans' reactions. Like my buddy and his family had the whole setup in the living room watching the game, and they had videoed, like their camera had videoed their living room reaction. And that was what was so cool, was seeing people tag me on Twitter, just random families just jumping up and down, screaming. And I'm like,
That's pretty cool.
it's awesome to see how much that just means to other people. It's crazy.
Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds show, Mississippi State baseball, part of the national championship team in 2021. Now, Blake, so that was the game. That was one of the games you were behind home plate?
Yeah, so Texas, the 2 Texas games, we were behind home plate because my dad had corporate partners who weren't. They used them for the championship series, those dirty dogs.
That's awesome.
Sure.
But we had them for the 2 Texas
So that was
games.
Saturday night before the championship
We
series.
were there Friday and Saturday behind the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Friday was a little bit less exciting.
So I wasn't far from you. I was down the third base line, like right behind the dugout during that, on the lower level, just standing up. Because it was at the end of the game. Everybody's on the edge of their seat freaking out, as he knows. And so you had a pretty good shot of that, Wild Man.
It was wild, man. And like I told
And the
Tanner-
night before had been a tough night
God, it
for
had
Mississippi
rained.
State baseball fans.
And every time you were close to getting over the hump, they got knocked back.
Right.
That's right.
It was like one of those football games where every time you had a drive, you're down 3 to take a lead.
They get 2 on?
Yeah, and then it'd be out.
Right.
And like he said, Quintanilla, the pitcher who
Yep.
Tanner hit the walk-off on Saturday, came in with bases loaded, no out, and struck out the side.
Yep.
That's right.
I think
And
it was an
forgot
inning or
about
two
that.
before. I mean,
It was like the 7th inning.
Yeah.
And that was State. We thought we were blowing it open. We thought, here it is. We're going to score. We're going to take the lead. We're going to ride Landon into the sunset because that's what we do, and it's over. And when State didn't score with bases loaded, no outs, I remember
that.
because I've watched the game 100 times since then. The Perez and them were talking about what a huge inning it was for Quintanilla,
Right.
and he came right back out the next inning and just mowed him down again, and came back out in the 9th and got Brad out, and then pegged Kellum, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think he lost Kellum on a 2-strike pitch.
Yep. 0-2.
Yeah, hit him with a slider.
Yep. Back foot.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
I've
I remember
only watched it 150
I remember.
times.
I'm gonna shout out Kellum Clark.
So you're on deck.
Yeah, I'm on deck when this happened, and Kellum comes back to the dugout afterwards, and he said, "Thank God he hit me in the foot." He said it was 0-2. I was swinging. He couldn't see the slider.
Oh,
But I mean,
man.
he had great pitches. I mean, he had good stuff. Obviously.
That's Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds show. With the walk-off over Texas game-winning hit. And you, Blake, as you walk through that, you forget about all the things that had to happen.
Yep.
For that to, I mean, obviously, Kellum Clark had to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Lamonis put Skinner in. And as Tanner just told us, he gets a strike, then gets a ball. On that pitch, Skinner takes the bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, he rips one to left center.
Yeah.
Actually, the fastest, his fastest time to the plate was on the pitch that Bray stole on the whole night.
Really?
It was just a slightly errant pitch, and
What
the
do you remember?
catcher
What he?
didn't
How
throw it.
It
fast
was
the
a
pitch?
heater up, and I think it was like a 1-2 to the plate. And you're never supposed to steal when he's a 1-2 to the plate. Never.
And Braylon stumbled.
and
It was a
Braylon
terrible
stumbled.
slide.
And I think,
It
but
was
I
a bad
think,
slide.
I think that he slid
Let's get
early
him on
though,
the phone.
guys.
He slid early.
I think
did.
that he knew. I'm telling y'all, I've seen Braylon Skinner do some stuff.
Yeah.
I think that he realized the ball beat him, and he slid early so he could make an adjustment mid-slide. And then obviously the ball was high and he was safe, so he. But I'm telling y'all, I've seen him. He will slide early and he will pull that hand up or swim move or something, and I think that's what he was about to do.
All right, when you got mobbed or whatever,
Yeah.
mugged out wherever you ended up, kind of. So who was the first person to either hug you and squeeze the life or tackle you after you hit the game-winning hit? So
Riley Self and I have a good relationship, and he was our first base coach. So I touched first, and as soon as I turned around to look, the whole team was coming.
they were.
Case Garner was actually one of our first guys. He's a guy that I grew up with, had played select baseball with. His dad was our head coach back in the Mississippi Pirates, 9 years old. And so he is a buddy on my team, and he was one of the first people out there. But Riley Self had grabbed me by my shoulder. So, like, we were looking at each other face to face. And for some reason, I headbutted him. I had my helmet on. I headbutted him, like, seriously. Headbutted him in the mouth, in the top lip.
Oh, wow.
And busted his whole lip. Riley Self, so our whole celebration, Riley's lip was bleeding. And it was because that I just blatantly headbutted him right in the mouth, literally. I don't even know why. I just was so excited.
Okay.
And then moments after, I threw the helmet, and Case and everybody was there. It was incredible. Golly, it was incredible.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, good grief. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Tanner Leggett joining us on the Bell's Two-Hearted L guest line. Blake?
Okay, two questions. One, have you hit a walk-off before? I mean, obviously not on that level.
Here's the crazy thing about this. That's my second World Series of my life, obviously first college World Series, first time in Omaha. The first World Series I played in was in 2007 in a Dizzy Dean World Series in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a 2-week tournament, and we were playing in the semifinals. Bases loaded. We're losing 3-0, and I hit an inside the park walk-off grand slam in the semifinals to go to the finals, and we won the World Series.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
And here I am, the second World Series, and the crazy thing is we're in Omaha at batting practice, the night of Texas, and I'm telling Coach Gotro, our hitting coach, in the Turtle, and I'm like, you want to know something crazy, Coach? And he said, what's that, Leg? And I said, I played in one World Series before this, and in the semifinal game, I hit a walk-off. And he said, no shit. And I said, yes, sir. And so here we go. Game ends, game comes, hit a walk-off. He comes up to me after the game, and he said, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I said, I told you.
Gotro.
2 for 2.
Well, and that was going to be my question. We've heard incredible stories about Jake Gotro from everyone who's talked to him. So,
Man,
All right,
what a
Jake
guy.
Mangum, Tanner Allen. Others have told us about Gotro. Just kind of his approach with y'all,
Dude,
how
yeah,
he handles
it's,
y'all.
It's his heart, honestly. He wants, and he's young, so he can show, and he's physical, but it's like he sees something real in somebody, and he wants you to be great.
Yeah.
And he can show you, and that's I mean, he's out there at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not only flipping you baseballs, but he's turning around and you're flipping him baseballs. And he's showing you how to hit backspin a line drive to the backside. I mean, like it's like riding a bike, and
That's impressive.
Well, is there something that he told you in your, I don't know if, but like when you were struggling and not getting playing time? Because there's a lot of kids who have, and this is a huge talking point in college football right now. The transfer portal teaching you to walk away from adversity, right? That's a huge sticking point. So you're somebody who, it probably would have been easy to check out. You look at the talent on the team, you go, well, I'm not going to play. Like they're not playing me. I'm not getting at bats. Like I'm just going to check out. Was there something he told you that stuck with you that made you like understand you had another opportunity?
Stay in the saddle, so to speak.
Right, pretty much. It was just be where your feet are, pretty much. It was no physical change. It was no don't press. It was just relax, almost like just relax, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're here, you got this. Your swing is perfectly fine. Just simplify, just relax. I mean, have fun and be comfortable. And that's literally what I would do is I would go in my personal work is I would just be as comfortable as possible. And I wouldn't, there's no certain amount of work that you have to get to it's all about feel.
Right.
And I learned that with talking to Tanner Allen. I mean, you can't get a hit unless you're comfortable. You're not going to hit. So therefore, when I go and I hit and I do my work, I may hit 10, 15 baseballs off the tee and then switch to front toss or something. It's all about I may hit 100 baseballs off the tee.
Right.
As long as I'm comfortable and I mean, it's crazy. Hitting's crazy.
Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds Show, walk-off against Texas in the College World Series, part of the 2021 National Championship team. He's got the ring. He's not wearing it right now, but he does have the ring. And they got him, I think, the LSU game or something like that.
We did.
All right. Well, that took like 18 minutes, which was great. That was great content radio. But we're going to switch gears real quick. Coach Shanks, what was it? All right. First of all, you were a four-sports star at Central Hines. Great soccer player, played quarterback in football, played basketball, and obviously were outstanding in baseball. Evidently, you sold concessions and everything else, cut the field, whatever else. What was it like to play for Coach Shanks in
It
high
was
school?
awesome, man. I'd always played for younger coaches, and through my the past 3 or 4 years before Coach Shanks had gotten there, it was a different coach every year. So I never got comfortable. Never. It was just a different coach every year, and then we were good, but we weren't. We would make it to South State or, first round, and we'd lose out. We didn't. It wasn't a great program yet. And then Shanks had come in and had made demanded a good baseball program. Sure. Almost wiped out our locker room. He made everything old school. I remember our practice shirts said in big font, big yellow, mustard yellow font. It said, "Old school, we play hard." And that was our stuff. So we were very blue collar, and Coach Shanks was incredible. One of my favorite coaches. Stories he'll tell. He can talk your head off.
I bet they're great.
Yeah, man. He's a very interesting man. But
so he took the program to another level, and you enjoyed playing under him.
He sure did. And it's either, honestly, the guys either really did not enjoy it or they really, really enjoyed it.
See that.
And that's how he is, and I love that type of. I mean, he demands greatness in that. I mean, you're either going to be great or it's not for you.
Right. So did you hit the 3-hole or the 4-hole in high school?
In high school, so I started off in the 1.
Okay.
And then Shanks came and put me in the 2.
Okay.
And then so I went from 1 and 2 and all throughout playoffs and stuff, just back and forth. Yeah. Just, however, if someone else was hot, they'd put him in the 1 and then I'd hit 2.
And how many weeks did you play soccer, basketball, and baseball? Or at least soccer and basketball, I would think. A lot of crossover there.
So much, man. I didn't even have a workout. I literally didn't have an off season because of course in the summer I was East Coast baseball, and then in the fall I was football, which led right into basketball, which led right into soccer. At one point I was literally I would leave soccer practice, which started at 3:00, and I would take my cleats off, run straight to the gymnasium on campus from our soccer field, like 200 yards, put on my basketball stuff and practice until 6 p.m.
Made the All-Star games, All-State, and all these sports and everything else. Scored 76 goals in high school soccer. Thanks for joining us today, buddy, and
man.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys for having me.
Keep up the good work.
I will.
And it's probably pretty good to be a national champion, isn't it?
That's right. Hell State.
Tanner Leggett. Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds Show. Walk-off against Texas in the College World Series. That flew by. 23 minutes, just like that. He's got the media thing. He and TA and all of them know how to do it. Tanner Leggett on the Out of Bounds Show. If you missed any of the interview, go to Apple Podcast and search the Out of Bounds Show, or go to YouTube and search Out of Bounds Sports.